In the Aristotle trial program, we had 4 objectives when we started out. And 5 or 6 years ago, the hope was that we would have something that was as effective as warfarin, but better tolerated and easier to use, more convenient. So that was our first hypothesis. And we needed to meet each one of these hypotheses in a sequential testing strategy in order to go with the next one to preserve the overall type 1 error of the trial, the overall statistical integrity. So first we had to show there was non-inferiority, and we did that. And then if that was met, then we could go on and test for superiority. And we were delighted to have this particular dose of apixaban versus warfarin with good warfarin control, median time in therapeutic range 66%, be 21% superior with respect to a reduction in stroke or systemic embolism than warfarin. Meeting that objective, then we could go on to test for superiority for bleeding, for major bleeding by the ISTH definition. And given the more effective profile for preventing stroke, we were then really surprised and think it was a remarkable finding to have, with better prevention of stroke, also a 31% reduction in major reduction in major bleeding. That was coupled with reduction in intracranial hemorrhage by 58%, hemorrhagic stroke by 49%, GI bleeding was lower, all different categories of bleeding. The more severe categories of bleeding, based on gusto severe or TIMI severe, TIMI major bleeding, also reduced by about 50%. So then we met that third criteria. So we had something that was more effective at preventing stroke, safer, and then in some ways the holy grail in terms of an aggregate measure, all-cause mortality. And this is in the context of the other trials of RELY and ROCKET, both of which showed in RELY with the 150 milligrams, in ROCKET, a trend for lower mortality, almost statistically significant in RELY. So this is with that background that we were able to show a statistically significant and according to our analysis plan, then a robust reduction in all-cause mortality and 11% relative risk reduction. So we had the three major findings: reduction in stroke, reduction in major bleeding, and reduction in mortality.